Ooh, there it is. Yes, folks, that is the soothing sound of official early morning weigh-ins. And this is the somewhat soothing voice of Alexander K. Lee, here to introduce MMA Fighting's UFC 268 official weigh-in show. Thank you, everyone who's joining early on the East Coast, very, very early on the West Coast, including our producer extraordinaire, E. Casey Lyden. Hello, Casey. And we are joined, of course, by the amazing Jose Youngs, who is on site holding things down. Yo, please give him all your love and support. Michael Heck from South Carolina.
Hola.
And our special guest, New York Rick from, I'm not sure. New York Rick, I don't know where you're from. We'll get to that later.
Hey. No one knows. No one knows.
Hey, we're starting.
We got. All right, here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the champ weighing in.
The champ is coming out. I'm just getting. I gotta get a tweet ready here. Fiery tweet, because he's gonna make it. Come on.
Is he waiting first before? Does he always come in first?
I think he's waiting first before. Yeah.
169 pounds, the official weight for the champion, Kamaru Usman.
A pound under 169 for the welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman. So easily makes it very official.
Statement.
Big time. Let's see if Colby just comes right up after.
All right, next athlete to the scale, one of the more beloved fighters in UFC history, the future Hall of Famer, 8th ranked bantamweight contender and former lightweight champion, Frankie Edgar.
Great Frankie Edgar coming up.
135.6. 135.6, the official weight for Frankie Edgar.
135.6 for Frankie Edgar. As pointed out by Jose, this is a digital scale, so we'll be getting some precise points here.
Oh, digital scale. Ooh.
It is the Digi. They got the Digi today, so no futzing around.
No fudging. No fudging
next
today.
fighter to the scale is the undisputed UFC strawweight champion, Thug Rose Namajunas.
Here comes our other champion of the night, Rose Namajunas. But yes, digital scale, guys. So no tapping the little thing on the scale to try and help the fighters. No, the Digi don't lie.
Even. 115 pounds, the official weight for the champ, Thug Rose Namajunas.
Rose Namajunas, 115 on the dot. No issues there. Champ is ready.
All right, next fighter to the scale. Fan base excited to see this man back on the proven ground. The former UFC interim lightweight champion, Dustin Gaethje.
Second for second, and
Gaethje coming up now.
The most exciting fighter in all of MMA. Second for second.
Oh, I mean, I was gonna say that's not the boldest claim. I think many would agree.
Yeah, you can't argue that one.
9 fight night bonuses in 8 UFC appearances.
Official weight 155.6 for Dustin Gaethje.
155.6 for Mr. Dustin Gaethje. A lot of the major players out of the way so far. I'm pretty sure their counterparts will not be long to show up to the scale.
All right, next fighter to the scale, charged with kicking off the prelims live on ESPN News, the number 11 ranked middleweight in the world, Edmen Shahbazyan.
Edmen Shahbazyan, the golden boy, looking to get back on the winning track here.
I know we would talk about this later, but I am still shocked Shahbazyan's people let him take this fight.
185.4. 185.4. The official weight for Edmen Shahbazyan.
185.4 for Edmen Shahbazyan. Imavov is a very, very tough opponent.
Yeah.
But
This is new camp
very high.
Shahbazyan,
Next
right?
fighter to the scale, competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow night in the UFC's featherweight division. He is New York's own Billy Quarantillo.
Billy Q coming up.
Oh yeah, I just noticed all the Whitman fighters already weighed in. Yeah.
Official weight 145.4 for Billy Q.
145.4 for Billy Quarantillo. Yes, yeah, that's right. A bunch of Whitman fighters. Why did they get to go first, Casey?
All right, we will stay in the featherweight division
They're
as we welcome our
responsible. They
next
show up early
athlete
and on time.
competing in a prelim live on UFC Fight Pass, Melsik Bagdasaryan.
I think it might be wit privilege.
Where's the drum? Where's come on? Where's the drums?
No drum rolls. Did you not have that queued up? Yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do the joke later in the second hour. Not everyone's here anyway. I'll do it in the
that's
second hour.
fair.
All right. You broke the internet.
Your joke broke the internet, AK.
145.4, the official weight for Melsik Bagdasaryan.
It's fine. 145.4 for Melsik Bagdasaryan.
That fight with Bruno Souza is gonna be fire.
Mike,
All right,
heck,
next
you are
fighter
in
to the
love with
scale. They
this
don't
card.
come much more popular around these parts than this guy, back for the first time in a long time.
Wow.
Raging Al Iaquinta.
Look who is back. Raging Al Iaquinta with the full broccoli dew up top.
There's a G in raging.
Has he clarified that?
Yes, you can
Yeah,
watch
this
MMA
is
Fight.com's
known.
Well,
media script.
I'm sorry, I'm not as educated as you guys are. Sometimes I drop my cheese, so I apologize. Please don't make fun of me for it.
155.8, the official weight for Al Iaquinta.
155.8 for Al Iaquinta. He's back.
If you're looking to buy a home this weekend, don't do it. Wait till next week. The best real estate agent is busy, so hold off. Hold
All
off
right,
on that
moving on
dream
now
home.
to the UFC's light heavyweight division as we welcome John Allen.
John Allen. Never trust a man with two first names.
What do we know about John Allen? I know very little.
He has two. Yeah, he has two first names.
Okay, I know two things now.
It's John Alon, I believe.
College boy.
Mr.
Okay,
Fancy
college boy.
here.
I mean, come on.
Oh, college boy. All right.
I don't like to question the great John Anik, but
That's what you just did.
205 pounds, the official weight for John Allen.
205 for John Allen, according to John Anik. 205 championship weight. Way to go.
Making a
talk
statement.
about a bad draw. You're supposed to fight Alexa Kamer on this card, and now you get Dustin Jacoby on short notice. That seems like and now he's like a minus.
Look at this shot.
A huge
All
dog.
right, next athlete to the scale, 14th ranked in the UFC's featherweight division and competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow. You know this man, Monroe, New York's Hurricane, Shane Burgos.
The hair.
I still don't know how this dude makes featherweight.
Because of the hair. The hair is at least like 2 pounds, right?
145.6, the official weight for Shane Burgos.
145.6. His opponent made weight earlier. That fight with Billy Quarantillo is official.
Oh
All right,
yeah.
next fighter to the scale. He is
Looks
one half of the
so much better
feature
than last week.
prelim on ESPN News of the UFC's middleweight division and set to make his UFC debut here tomorrow. Alex Pereira.
Oh, it is the man who was twice defeated Israel Adesanya kickboxing, making a very highly anticipated UFC debut. Alex Pereira, excuse me. I saw someone comment, the media doesn't talk enough about, I don't know if it's sarcastic, about him, his kickboxing abilities and his like rivalry with Adesanya. And I'm like, that's literally the only thing we talk about when we
Rival with
mention
Adesanya?
Pereira.
What are you talking about? He knocked out another man on this card.
And LFA?
No, in glory, man. Kickboxing. Come on, pay attention.
I don't
Dustin
watch,
Jacoby?
I only watch
Dustin.
I only watch pro wrestling.
185.8, the official weight for Alex Pereira.
185.8 for Alex Pereira. I'm going with Anik. Anik is never wrong.
Yes, he is.
Wow, man.
Oh,
He was wrong. He was wrong with John Alon.
All right, next fighter to the scale, also making his UFC
Going
debut here
after-
tomorrow in the UFC's middleweight division, Chris Curtis.
going after. Oh my gosh, the action man Chris Curtis is weighing in again for the second time. Fingers crossed, this man will actually get to fight in the UFC. I don't believe in jinxes, so I'm saying it. This man will fight in the UFC on Saturday night at Madison Square Garden. Chris Curtis.
What do you mean he's weighing in again? What does that mean?
He weighed in before when he was supposed to be Phil Hawes to fight Phil Hawes. Before.
The official weight, 186 pounds for Chris Curtis.
186 for Chris Curtis.
Doing the Randy Orton pose.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I remember Phil Hawes didn't take the
pose.
fight. But
Phil Hawes
and
Phil Hawes
justifiably
hasn't weighed
so.
in yet. What are you talking about?
No, this is before. Chris Curtis.
Before what?
Was
Move
a
on.
later-
Move on.
Where Deron wins.
Move on.
Casey, you don't remember this?
Casey wasn't. Casey was traveling the world at that point.
He could still read the
Ron
news.
Wynn's not on this card.
I will explain
Oh my
later,
gosh.
Casey. I'll explain later. It's
Move
fine.
on.
It's fine.
Chris Barnett time.
Wait, what's that? Wait,
Chris
Jose. Wait, Jose. Say,
Barnett.
wait, Jose. What'd you say?
He said move on for now.
Got a guy up here.
Yeah. Oh,
Chris Barnett. We're going from the action man to Beast Boy. This card is kind of amazing.
Told you, man.
it's
These
a card.
prelims are awesome.
It's a card.
He is the look at that smile.
263.8, the official weight for Chris Barnett.
263.8 for Chris Barnett. The very oh my god.
All right, next fighter to the scale.
Oh my goodness.
UFC lightweight division staple, Bobby King Green.
Bobby Green.
Affliction
venerable.
MMA veteran Bobby Green.
Oh my goodness. This guy's fought for everybody. The stalwart, the lightweight stalwart.
How many Affliction MMA fighters do we have in UFC? Rothwell, Arlovsky, Bobby Green.
Oh my gosh. That's a good question.
$155.2, the official weight for the King, Bobby Green.
155.2 for Bobby Green. His opponent, Iaquinta, also successfully weighed in. That fight is official. All right. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Colby or Zhang Weili yet. I'll be honest. But
All
again,
next
I'm
fighter to the
not
scale, competing in the UFC's welterweight division, live on UFC Fight Pass, Jordan Williams.
Jordan Williams, tasked with welcoming the future Ian Garry. Probably one of the big, I haven't looked at the odds, one of the bigger underdogs in the card, I imagine. But very talented guy. So could be, we'll see if he spoils the UFC and Cage Warriors plans here.
He's a plus 310 underdog.
Eesh.
Official weight for Jordan Williams, 170.6.
170.6 for Jordan Williams.
So all I know
Jordan
about
Williams stopped
is
the
All right,
about
man.
next up, we
Try to
will
steal
put
the
on
card.
coming force in the UFC's middleweight division, Phil Hawes.
And here is Phil Hawes, a man making moves at 185, has the makings of a contender, but he's facing he'll have the size advantage on Saturday, I'm pretty sure, but he's going to sit to a very tough veteran.
is Curtis
He was a little
welterweight?
spicy. He was a little
Curtis is
spicy,
normally- he's fought it-
today.
Ooh, I like that from Phil Hawes.
I think
185.4, the official weight for Phil Megatron Hawes.
his official assessment of Chris was he's here for the fight kit. I'm here to knock him out.
Oh, how dare you? Oh, actually, I like that, though.
Okay,
That
okay,
kinda
pay
sounds-
attention.
Phil Hawes,
Okay.
185.4, his fight with Chris Curtis is official.
You got one job, AK.
But yeah,
You got one shot.
Curtis has frequently
Nah,
competed at 170.
I was telling the story. AK can wait.
Yeah, that was more important. Yeah, that was more important. But yeah, Curtis typically 170, but he's competed at middleweight before, so it's not completely out of his comfort zone here. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Here it
To
is.
the scale is the former UFC strawweight champion and now the #1 ranked contender, Magnum Zhang Weili.
Former champ.
Man, I am such a fan of her new haircut.
It looks great.
It works.
Cejudo?
It works.
The Cejudo?
Cejudo. He called it the Cejudo.
What does that mean?
Same haircut.
Nah,
haircut.
Cejudo's always like frayed
Yes, it
and
is.
it's just like sticks out.
No, it's not.
Cejudo. Show me a pic again. We gotta get this.
Put it up on the screen. We'll do the split screen later.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
No, that's a mask. That's a mask, and she's on weight.
115.2. I don't think any of us should be super concerned.
Yeah.
Let's see what their plan is here.
Now it's just formality. All right, let's do the whole thing.
Are they bringing
I
out?
get the box of redemption.
Yes, and this definitely calling it box of redemption ahead of time. Pretty sure it won't be a problem. Again, this is digital scale stuff, guys. Beam scale would be
Yeah, should be
moving along
148.
already.
I mean, 114, whatever. What is it? How many pounds did Chimaev knock off?
She's just taking the mask off.
Yeah.
She's just taking the mask off.
I'm not even gonna bother putting her first weight because we know she's on weight.
No.
Yeah.
All right, box of redemption.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
114.9. What are we going?
That's your guess?
Where are we going?
I don't.
115. I was going to say it.
Okay, so weighing 115 pounds for Zhang Weili. Your UFC strawweight championship rematch is official.
Whoa! What? We're going with X prop?
Hey, you snooze, you lose.
No, I let him go first out of a professional courtesy. Fine. You're right. As long as the music gets played, that's all that matters. So that's official.
Our next fighter
Oh, well,
to the
that's
scale
not-
competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow.
No.
The 13th ranked bantamweight in the world out of Ecuador, Marlon Chito Vera.
No, Casey, the second time was just patronizing.
Yeah, that's the point.
135 pounds, the official weight for Chito Vera.
Oh, just got up there. Marlon Vera, 135.
And
Oh, come on.
And-
Wait for your buddy John Anik. Just wait for your buddy John Anik to
Next
say it.
fighter to the scale with much fanfare set to make his UFC debut live on Fight Pass Farm in the UFC's welterweight division.
Just wait.
He is undefeated. He is the future. Ian Garry.
Chito Vera and Frankie Edgar's official.
No, you blew it.
Good.
That fight's not
Good.
happening now. That fight's not
Someone
happening.
blew it. I'm not. It's
That fight's
not
that fight's
official.
off.
It's not official without the music. Everyone's confused now. Here's Ian Garry.
169.6, the official weight for Ian Garry.
169.6. His opponent, Jordan Williams, also made weight. That fight is official. All right. We're back.
Okay, you can say it now for Edgar Vera. Come on.
It's all right. Let's just do it. Edgar Vera, third fight from the top of the main top of the card. It's official. Right. All right. So let's take a quick look here. We are waiting on not too many people left, actually. Colby Covington, Mike Chandler, Andreas Michailidis, Imavov, Nassourdine Imavov, on Villante, Dustin Jacoby, I'm trying to forgetting someone. Sorry. TJ Laramie. Wait. What? Is TJ Laramie fighting?
Bruno Souza.
Whatever down TJ Laramie. What the hell did I get that from? That's me looking at copying from Wikipedia, I guess.
That was the. That was his initial opponent. Souza took the fight.
No,
on Gaethje notice.
You know where I copied that from? I copied that from our own weigh-ins page. So
What?
never mind. Nothing to see here.
Hey,
That's
I have a
not
question
good.
for you.
Yeah, please,
I have
Jose.
a
Please
question
take it
for
away,
you.
please, while I get this sorted out, please.
Me and our good friend Mark Raimondi were talking. What does VVBV title fight mean on that poster behind this gentleman?
It's how the kids are writing, W's these days.
What is that?
Which, the New York Rick. Do you got any insight on this?
What is that?
You're hipping with it. What is this?
I got nothing for you.
Is this a TikTok thing? This is a TikTok.
I think it might. Yeah, it's a TikTok. Yeah, it's a TikTok. That's what
I said when I don't understand things. It's a TikTok thing.
It's a TikTok. Oh my goodness.
All right.
I have no idea.
That's great. That looks great.
Good morning, everybody.
Wait, is that?
What are we looking at?
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Wait, what do you want to look at, AK?
It's up to you. You're the producer. I will roll with. I just want to know who I have to. I just need to know who I have to talk to get this weigh-ins thing fixed. I think our erstwhile editor is on. I will say.
Are you trying to update your OS right now?
No. Thank goodness. Not. I guess we have ourselves a little break. Jose, it looks like. Yes, Jose probably went to get a cookie. So I will assume.
No idea.
Okay.
Where's Chelsea?
Should we do a rundown of the
Jose.
weights?
Yeah, I think
Literally
now's a good
all
time.
the media here. Literally all the media here are on a quest to figure out what that means.
Oh, and that's just title fights, right? That's for both titles, right? VVB fights. Like that's not it's not just weird welterweight title thing. It's somehow regarding both fights. That's interesting.
Does no one really know? Are we really? Like...
It has to just be a type. It has to be an error.
What could that mean then?
Mike?
Very, very brutal and violent title fights. I don't know. I mean, literally, we're just grasping here. We're trying to pull something away. I don't know.
You just came up with that.
That's just. I mean, listen. That might get another 50,000 pay-per-view buys right there if you present it in that way. It's good business.
What? There's going to be some very, very brutal, violent title fights. I was on the fence before, but
I mean,
I'm in now.
I mean, I'll pay $70 for very brutal, but very, very brutal. Whoa, it's too much of a good thing.
I'm having people over. That is odd. It has to be some bizarre printing. Yeah, and it's weird. It's only in the center of the banner, so it's not repeated with the other logos throughout the banner. That's interesting.
So don't go anywhere because we might have an answer for you. Don't go anywhere.
Hopefully we will. I'm not guaranteeing anything. Hold on, I got to put in poor Bruno Souza's name is not in our official weigh-ins. I'm gonna just quickly hop in there and throw it in. But yeah, I guess Mike. You know what? Let's do the weigh-in rain dance. Maybe once we start running it down, it'll make guys come out. So please, Mr. Michael Heck, take it away.
Hold on.
Yes,
Mr.
I can't wait to get to like the fourth fight and you hear John Anik's voice. All right. Kamaru Usman was the first to the scale, weighed in 169 pounds, still awaiting the challenger, Colby Covington. Rose Namajunas and Zhang Weili both weighed in 115 pounds. Their strawweight title fight is official. Frankie Edgar weighed in at 135.6. The number 10 ranked bantamweight in MMA Fighting's global rankings takes on Marlon Vera, who could enter the global rankings with the victory. He weighed in at 135. Shane Burgos, 145.6, takes on Billy Quarantillo, who weighed in at 145.4. Justin Gaethje, the third-ranked lightweight in MMA Fighting's global rankings, 155.6, still waiting on the number 6-ranked Michael Chandler. Still waiting on Andreas Michailidis. He takes on the debuting Alex Pereira, who weighed in at 185.8. Iaquinta, 155.8, takes on Bobby Green, who weighed in at 155.2. Phil Hawes and Chris Curtis. Positive vibes. This fight goes down tomorrow. They both weighed in successfully. Hawes at 185.4. Chris Curtis, 186. Edmen Shahbazyan, 185.4, still waiting on Nassourdine Imavov. Jordan Williams, 170.6. He will welcome Garry, who weighed in 169.6. Still waiting on Villante, who will make his final weigh-in ever as he prepares to take on Chris Barnett, who weighed in at 263.8. One of the more entertaining weigh-ins of the day thus far. John Alon weighed in at 205, still waiting on Dustin Jacoby, who took this fight on less than a week's notice. Melsik Baghdasaryan weighed in at 145.5. He'll take on Bruno Souza, who takes this fight on 8 days' notice, replacing TJ Laramie, and still waiting for the flyweights, the debuting CJ Vergara, who had an incredible showing on Dana White's Contender Series to earn a contract. He will take on Oday Osbourne, one of the more exciting fighters, and a guy really looking for a victory here. Back to you, AK.
Top-notch. A top-notch recap, as always. Gosh, where do we begin here while we sort of fill some time? I did.
Why don't we introduce our little square?
Introduced our little. First of all, he needs no introduction. Also, I mean, it would be nice if he had a name tag. I'm not criticizing the production. You're the production guy.
He comes in late. He's new here. He doesn't know how things work.
Everyone knows who he is.
He's from a blog from Connecticut.
Right, I will recap the Chris Curtis drama for you later. But New York Rick joining us on this weigh-in day.
Thank you for having me. Honored. I will admit, I dropped in impromptu, so not having a lower third, completely understandable. And let's be real, I don't really
make excuses for him. Don't make excuses for him. That was better.
Let me get one.
We had a
He's
conversation.
our Trevor Whitman.
Yeah.
Rick, how's the scene down there? How's the scene in New York?
Is that for me or Jose?
That's for you for now. I will also get Jose's on-site take in a moment.
Good. Yeah, it was good being on site there yesterday. There was a lot of energy at the presser. I think it's safe to say the fans were out in full force and made it an entertaining presser, if nothing else. So I think this fight week is shaping up to be worthwhile of the magnitude of the card. The fans are meeting it with equal energy. Which is fun to see and good for my city, putting on for my city.
Have you regularly been going to big events, Rick, or is this your first one you've been to in a while? Oh, you're usually there.
Yeah, I've been before the pandemic. Romero versus Costa was the last one I had been to. Then starting in July from Conor versus Dustin rematch on, I've been traveling to these events. This one's energy is by far the biggest that I'm seeing and anticipating heading into Saturday night.
Yeah, I think we got that even from watching from home. I was a little. I guess I shouldn't be a little bit shocked by sort of how pro Covington some of the crowd. I should ask you: is that how it was there? Did you get the sense it was very, very pro Covington, even more so seeing it live?
Without having done an actual formal poll throughout the arena, I will say the Covington support was the loudest. I think that's the most accurate way to present it. The Covington support was the loudest. He was most represented. Nearly anything he did got a lot of cheers. Although I will say Kamaru got his own fair share of cheers. It wasn't necessarily all pro Covington and boo to Kamaru Usman. I think the fans were just looking to put on a good show, but Colby was certainly the driver of a lot of that energy yesterday.
There was a reporter that did a quick fan poll, I recall. He did during the press conference, and from my ears, it sounded about even. I don't know if the Colby fans just seemed the loudest. Were they actually more people, or were Colby fans just louder, just like Colby in general? I'm just going to speak louder, therefore,
Yeah, there was a strong concentration that had loud voices, for sure, of Colby Covington fans.
Outside of the top two, who was getting the best reactions?
Yeah, I think Rose. I thought the moment with Zhang and Colby endeared both of them a little bit and got a good amount of cheer. So as I said, it seemed like nearly anything that was
fighter to the scale in the UFC's flyweight division, Ode Osbourne.
Thanks, Rick. All right, we got Oday Osbourne coming up, one of the prelim openers, early prelim opener. Oday trying to make it happen at flyweight now. He's fought at 2 other weight classes in the UFC so far. So we'll see. Maybe I think we all know this is where he belongs. Very talented guy, and we'll see how he goes against another talented guy. Recent Contender Series contract winner CJ Vergara.
I know everyone kind of like looks at the highlight of Manel Kape landing that flying knee, but before that, Osborne looked really good in that fight until the highlight.
125.2, the official weight for Ode Osbourne.
125.2 for Oday Osborne. And yes, losing to getting knocked out by Manel Kape, no shame in that. One of the hardest hitters and most exciting fighters in the flyweight division. So no shame in that at all.
I'm pleasantly surprised the UFC has kept him around, honestly. And I think he is a talented fighter who's just, unfortunately, faced better competition. But still, quote unquote, UFC level, I believe. But this is a win or go home fight for him, correct? You would think?
Possibly.
Iron Michael Chandler.
And Michael Chandler.
There we go.
Did I not tweet out? Oh, I'm a fool. Oh, yes, I did. Okay.
Official weight 155.2 for Michael Chandler.
155.2 for Michael Chandler. His opponent, Justin Gaethje, also successfully made weight earlier, and that fight is official.
That fight might deserve 2 sound effects.
Nah, we'll see.
Completely no-sold it.
Wow.
All right,
We'll see.
Don't tell the Chuck what to do, I guess. Lesson learned. He'll be the judge of that.
I mean,
I've seen lots of Michael Chandler fights. He knocks people out, but he grinds a lot of decisions too. I mean, I don't understand this whole. I mean, I get it because they're 2 top-ranked lightweights, and that's always exciting. But as far as like we got fight of the year, it's like I mean, I know who Justin Gaethje is. Michael Chandler, he'll if he needs to wrestle to win, he will wrestle to win. I love what Gaethje's doing and trying to just saying, who's gonna be the first bitch and go for my legs, It's like, you mean the guy that beat you? Habib? What are you talking about? I just don't. It's good on Gaethje trying to play mind games on Chandler, not to actually use his greatest strength in the fight, but it's a good fight.
But I don't think he can though. Like, other than Habib, no one has dominated like this. They might have strategically used their wrestling, like Poirier and Alvarez, but even then, it came down to their having to use their striking to put him away. So, I don't know. I think this is the exact matchup.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the Poirier and Alvarez matchups, though I don't think Chandler is as good as them. Maybe I'm wrong, but
it's interesting. Like, it's an interesting fight because Michael Chandler, isn't necessarily the best counter striker on earth, but he's a great counter striker when it comes to kicks. Like, kicks to the legs, kicks to the body. Like, he's really good at absorbing those and then figuring it out and being able to counter. And obviously, one of Justin Gaethje's best weapons are those insanely nasty leg kicks. And I'm sure Chandler has been studying those and working on those. And Chandler's really good at countering that stuff. So, I mean, it's an interesting matchup. And yeah, if I'm Michael Chandler, I'm probably focusing on wrestling, although Justin Gaethje is very difficult to take down. You saw that first round with Habib. Habib couldn't get him down till the very end of the first round. I mean, Habib just gets everybody down. Usually when he gets his hands on you, there's no choice but to go down. But Gaethje did okay for a little while. But
the thing
Habib's just a different level guy.
But Gaethje needs to threaten the takedown. Otherwise, his hands aren't they're not as good as we think they are unless he has the threat of the wrestling. If Gaethje takes away that threat, then Chandler's not the same fighter if he doesn't have that threat. Oh,
here's Colby Covington. Colby Covington, guys, the former interim champion, one-time undisputed challenger.
He might be the biggest mystery on this entire card because we don't know what he's been doing. He's been gone for a while.
$169.4, the official weight for Colby Covington. Your UFC
169.4. That fight's official. Take
Way to
that,
really
Anik.
sell the main event.
Anik is going so quickly. I'm sorry. This titanic rematch between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Hopefully, the resolution of this blood feud for the welterweight championship is now official. Sorry.
Well, we know which fight Casey likes better. Since
No. Well, no. I'm just giving respect to the title fight. That's all. I'm not. I don't think it's any better, but AK kind of
More than fair.
botched the announcement of it.
I apologize. I just I clearly I prioritized myself over the fight, and I apologize for that. It will not happen again. There we go. Well, there's our main card. Our main card is official. Again, there's still a day away. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Nothing will happen to these fights in the main card, and we're just waiting now for about 6 names, I believe.
Okay, what?
Jean
Villante is just taking a nap right now. He's just late.
He is not even awake right now. His alarm has not gone off.
He's heavy.
It's alarm.
Anyway, man, he's just gonna stumble down and weigh in when he wants.
He's gonna be wearing just like a shirt and shorts. Like he's just not gonna be. I can't wait. All right.
What are they gonna do? Fire me? He's like, yeah.
Well, we can start breaking down some of the fights now. Now that we have, I was gonna say I wanted to start it before, but I mean Covington had not arrived. He's that fight we said main card. The whole main card official now. So let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about the main event. Rick, let me go to you first while we have you here. Usman coming rematch. The question we've got about on the other shows. How will this fight be different from the first meeting, if at all? Do you see how in any way this could be different?
Yeah, well, I definitely see a path to it being different. It's hard to say what we're going to see from Colby Covington, just because he has only competed against Tyron Woodley in the time since that fight. And it looked like a very Colby Covington meat and potato standard performance. Not that that's a bad thing. He's one of the top welterweights in the world, but it was not a departure in any way. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger, we've seen Kamaru drastically improve his striking game to the point that he completely put Jorge Masvidal out cold. So I think the overall sentiment and a lot of the general consensus is that Kamaru Usman has made a ton of improvements. And the assumption is that Colby hasn't. I'm not sure that's the case. We really don't know. So it's a hard one to forecast. I will say, though, I expect that Colby Covington will attempt to use his wrestling. I don't think he can win a striking battle with Kamaru Usman at this point. I think that Kamaru Usman has gone too far above him in that realm. The first fight, while good, was not exactly super technical on the feet. I think Kamaru has shored that up and has become a lot more technical on the feet. So I am expecting Colby Covington to potentially mix in a lot more wrestling in the pressure game that he uses, and Kamaru Usman to probably try and sit back and counter strike a little bit more, stick that jab in his face the way he has done successfully against his last couple of opponents. And I think it'll be a much more mixed martial arts friendly contest than the striking battle that we saw last time. And I favor Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I think most of it, we'll get to our official picks later. I think most of us in the media in general are leaning towards Usman. Mike, do you see it the same way? Do you think we see less of high volume Colby and more of he's got to just get down there and go back to his fundamentals and turn this into a grind to even have a chance of winning? Or what do you think? Or do you think we get another banger like Chapter 1?
I mean, I still think we'll see some high volume Colby. The most successful Colby is the high volume Colby. You saw it in the Robbie Lawler fight. You saw it in some of those other fights. He has to have that high volume at some point to set up and kind of mix everything up. I don't think he's going to stand up for 25 minutes with Kamaru Usman. I think he's crazy if he tries to do that. But I think eventually he can get going. It ain't the prettiest thing to watch Colby Covington strike, but it is super effective when he's on and he's in that zone. So I mean, it's an interesting fight. I don't think we're going to sit there. We're not going to have a back and forth slugfest like we had the last time. I agree with Eric. I think Colby's going to have a much more wrestling base. I don't think it's going to be super obvious. He's not going to shoot for a takedown right away, but I think end of the first round, heading into the second, we're going to see Colby kind of mix things up, change levels, grind against the fence. It's going to be a more grueling fight this time around. I think it's going to be a lot of fence, a lot of clinch work, a lot of different things. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. This is going to be this is the MMA version of this fight. This isn't going to be a boxing or a kickboxing version of this fight like we saw in the first one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised. And well, okay, Casey, go to you in a second. I think a lot of people were surprised that the first one did devolve into like a slugfest, but I think pleasantly surprised. Casey, I don't know. Casey, are you one of the people who, when you, after kind of having a chance to think back on the first fight, kind of, poked at it for like that it wasn't like a good technical battle and it was kind of this brawl and slugfest, or did you enjoy it even more in retrospect? And do you think the rematch are you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it because it's Kamaru Usman. I think Kamaru Usman is a GSP type talent. He just doesn't have the resume yet, but I believe he is talent-wise just as good as GSP was in his prime. I think the first fight is I think this fight is going to go how we thought the first fight was going to go, which we're kind of coding the language. I think we're like, oh, it's going to be grindy, it's going to be up against the cage, which unless this is Usman Covington, that's usually code for that's a pretty boring fight, to be honest. No one says, oh, grindy up against the cage is an exciting fight, but I think the first fight it kind of blew away our expectations because I don't think anyone was expecting that type of brawl. But I really believe that was that's because Usman let it be a brawl, and I don't think Usman will let the fight get. I don't think Usman will let the fight be that competitive this time. I think he will control the grinding and the caginess, control the wrestling, and Usman's just a much better striker right now than Colby.
Yeah, it does feel like we're seeing a guy at the peak of his powers, like you said, almost GSP-esque. And this is coming from like GSP stand number one. Like I think GSP is the number one, like pound for pound greatest fighter of all time.
I'm talking solely just on pure skill wise. Obviously, GSP
Sure.
was a pop culture icon, and he could sell out any arena anywhere. Kamaru Usman's just not that person. But as far as like when the bell rings and they're punching each other and wrestling, I think he's just as good.
And look, even if we make a reasonable assumption that today's welterweights are better prepared, better conditioned, more talented than the welterweights of 15 years ago, with respect to Matt Hughes, Frank Trigg, BJ Penn, all those great fighters that Jake Shield, great fighters that GSP fought, you would say on average, hopefully, MMA fighters are better now. So Usman does deserve credit. I know some of the names he's beaten. They don't have, Colby Covington won't be regarded in the same way as a Matt Hughes, a BJ Penn. But he is a very, very good fighter. And I think if you take Colby Covington of today and you put him in the mid 2000s,
he whoops Matt Hughes. He whoops BJ Penn. He whoops them. He just has the name value because. Right. It was a different time. It was just when there was no Matt Hughes before Matt Hughes. There was no BJ Penn before BJ Penn. That's what I mean. Like, so those guys kind of created what welterweights are, And and now we have this kind of third generation now, I guess fourth generation of these top level welterweights, and that's what we have tomorrow night.
Yeah. And we got a little bit of a different.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
You got a little bit of a different storyline too, because I mean, again, like me and Rick were talking about earlier, Colby's a complete mystery right now. Like he took the Woodley fight with a little bit of work at MMA Masters, but now he's had over another full year plus to work with those guys. So he's training with the guys like the Nico Prices of the world. He's training with the Miguel Baez of the world. So I'm interested to see if Colby comes out and starts hammering leg kicks. Like, I think that'd be a very smart strategy on his part to come out and start going after the legs of Kamaru, like start landing kicks.
Maybe he learned head movement too.
Him up a little bit.
What happened?
Yeah. Maybe he learned some head movement. Maybe they both learned head movement too. If you watch that first fight, they just ate jabs without, moving their head left or right for almost 25 minutes.
Yeah, so
sure.
that
sounds like
I like that.
He's a terrific kicker. He's a terrific kicker. So working with that guy, I mean, you got to know how to kick. You got to know how to defend kicks. So I'm sure maybe his kicking game's gotten better. Like Colby likes to kick to the body. Sometimes he'll go up top. You don't see a ton of leg kicks from Colby. So I wonder if that's going to be an interesting wrinkle he brings to the table working with those guys. So he's got to do something different. He can't stand there and have a boxing match with Kamaru Usman. And even if it is a grinding fight against the cage, as good as Colby is and as durable as Colby is and that cardio and that pace, Usman's going to win that battle too. So, I mean, Colby's going to do something we've never seen from him before if he's going to win this fight. So that's what makes him so mysterious, because we have no idea what this man has been doing for the last 14 months. No clue. So that's what makes this more intriguing to me. I am favoring Usman to win the fight. I haven't made my official pick yet because I'm still weighing it out, like the what ifs. which is so hard to play in MMA when you're making fight picks. But I am leaning Usman if the guys we normally see are in there, but we have no idea how different Colby's going to be tomorrow.
I hope we see K1 Colby. That would just be so much fun.
Oh
Casey, are we going to see hugs and handshakes after? I mean, the first fight, it was almost impossible. There was,
of course we
there
are.
was so much. You think it's all resolved?
Colby's gonna. Well, maybe not from Colby. I think, Kamaru's fine with this. Everyone's like bad blood, bad blood. I don't see this as bad blood at all. I just see this as Kamaru's like, oh, that guy's gonna make me the most money. That's all this is to Kamaru. It's like, oh, this guy's making me the most money. That's all. For Colby, he's gonna do his shtick, sell, and and maybe if Colby gets whooped up, maybe he runs out of the cage again. Who knows? But I think if Colby wins, I think Kamaru will shake his hand. I don't
definitely if Covington wins, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess there's always a chance for controversy, but really
unless there's something weird ending. But
right.
the first fight didn't have a weird ending. It was just one party decided to call it a weird ending.
He really shrugged off a lot of Covington's dad cracks and then got him back with your father must be so disappointed in you. He really tissed him. So your father so disappointed in you, Colby.
Hey, that's true. If your parents can yell at you, but if they say they're disappointed in you, that's the one that hurts. That's the one that hurts.
Dagger. Rick, hugs and handshakes? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think on that question, it's almost like a fundamental question on whether you think people buy Colby Covington's shtick anymore or not. Like, Kamaru Usman either buys what Colby Covington is selling and is hurt by it or doesn't. I think he clearly doesn't. I think he doesn't care what Covington says. I think there's a lot of people out there who are in that same camp. So I think Colby Covington at his core is probably somebody who has competed long enough to show respect to his opponent, and they will shake hands because I think this is an act. And if you don't buy it, and I don't believe Kamaru Usman buys it, then I think there's no problem at that point shaking hands. That, as Usman has alluded to throughout the week, Covington is a vehicle for making him money, and he's appreciative of that. So I don't think there's going to be too much hard feeling after they make a lot of money on this fight.
Yeah.
God, Usman is not the most clever guy, but when you put it that way, Rick, like it's such a cold way of putting both the father's disappointing you thing, and then referring to your opponent, your supposedly hated rival, as a vehicle for you making money. God, that's the ultimate. I don't know if he's intentionally trying to burn him like that, but that is such a slap in the face. You've interviewed Colby many times, and you told us before the show you went back to you kind of missed the press conference when it happened, and then you treated yourself and went back and watched it. 1 to 10, how do you evaluate Colby's performance, as it were, at the pre-fight press conference? He was getting a lot of reaction from the crowd, very repetitive material going to the Colby playbook, but the crowd reacted, which in pro wrestling, as long as you're getting reaction from the crowd, isn't that a good thing? I don't know. 1 to 10, Mike, how do you rate Colby?
I mean, overall, it's tough because I've been interviewing Colby since, and I'm not trying to be cool with this, but before it was cool, when nobody was interviewing Colby, when Colby couldn't get anybody to fight him, as he so eloquently put it, I was interviewing Colby Covington, and the trash talk game was kind of there. The pro wrestling shtick was always there. He always had some good burns. I mean, I remember interviewing him before he was fighting top 15 guys, and he was talking about Kamaru Usman. And the promos he was cutting back then were way better than the ones that he's cutting now. Way better, way more explicit. These were I was like, damn, this dude's fire. This guy a little bit different. So I mean, and I've seen the real Colby too. I've gotten to talk to the real Colby. If you watch one of the old interviews, my kid came on at the end of one dressed as Spider-Man, and Colby shouted him out and was really nice to him, and it was almost like a baby face turn for Colby. So you kind of got glimpses of who the guy actually is. In terms of the pro wrestling persona and all that and working the crowd, I thought he did a great job. The things that came out of his mouth, I'm not a big fan of, but in terms of getting reaction and being quote unquote over with the crowd, I thought Colby did really well with that. He had the crowd behind him. He got a reaction, and that's exactly what he was there to do. So goal set wise, what he had in mind was probably a 9 or a 10. Am I a fan of the things that he said? No, I would give it a 2 or a 3 with the shtick. But in terms of getting over and getting a reaction, it was a success for him.
Oh, wow, a solid 9, possibly a 10. Again, I have to agree. Like I said, I think I don't love the shtick at all. I find his material tiresome, but you don't stop playing taking care of business because the fans have heard it multiple times. The fans came to see. They didn't see the rest of the Bachman Turner Overdrive catalog. They're here for taking care of business, and it's an imperfect comparison, but I am just saying I get it. If every time I think there was diminishing returns in some of the lines, but he got a lot of oohs and ahs every time he went talking about Kamaru's family and things like that, and going after reporters and the people. If the people, like you said, the people are into it, if it makes them buy the pay-per-view, that's even better for the UFC, and for Colby, if it improves his brand or keeps his brand going, how can anyone criticize? I mean, we can criticize, but how can he? Why would he want to change? I should say it's probably the better question. Should we make picks, guys? Do you guys want to make picks now, or do you want to keep going down the main card? What do you guys think?
Skip me on the picks.
Okay.
I'll save mine for the preview show later, but I would love to
Rick,
get Rick's picks.
Well, Rick, I feel like I almost want to get you. You have your own. It's going to be almost a segment, right? I feel like you almost have a bunch of connected picks, correct?
I do.
I don't know. I tweeted that you're going to do some official Rick's picks. So if you don't, we're going to get sued. I'm going to get sued by Twitter.
I will pick some fights. I will definitely pick some fights.
Okay, go. Okay, let's do it now.
Yeah.
If you're ready.
I am so confused right now. You want me to just run down this card and make picks? Is that the move?
I mean, if you'd like to, again, like I said, I think it's going to be a bit of a gap. I feel like until Jean Villante wakes up and rolls out of bed. The rest, I am surprised we haven't seen anyone else come in. Normally, like I said, there is that big rush, and we're in the last hour. No, we're not even the last hour yet. Oh, plenty of time. Okay, so I shouldn't be super surprised. Rick, I'll give you a moment. Let's actually talk about the co-main event first, and then we'll do like a real Rick's picks rundown of the card.
Sure.
A lot of the same questions, guys, kind of that we have with very different kind of rivalry, but kind of the same questions. The first fight, this was certainly more definitive than Usman Covington. Well, I say Usman Covington was definitive, but at least we got to see more. We got to see almost 25 minutes of action. With Namajunas and Zhang Weili, I mean, we saw, what was it, 78 seconds, something like that? Less than 90 seconds of competition. So kind of a strange scenario. A lot of people not asking for an immediate rematch, but we have been given it. It's certainly a great fight. No complaints there. Mike, again, compared to the main event, more excited, less excited for this rematch?
I mean, I'm trying to find ways to become intrigued by it. I like the fight ready move. Captain Eric texts me all the time and tells me it's Magnum 2.0. Wait till you see her. It's going to be a whole different fighter. So, like, I am intrigued to see the changes made. Not that she needed to make a lot. She just got caught with a nasty kick. I hate this matchmaking. I hate it. I don't like the fact that Zhang Weili is thrown right back in the spot, because if she loses again tomorrow, where do you go from here? You just put it, like, is it just like a high level gatekeeper role? Like, you have to beat Zhang Weili to get title shots? Like, what? Like, I don't like this. I wish she went back, got a top 5 opponent, try to get a win, and then get back to a title fight. Let Carla Esparza get her shine. But here we are. Like, if she loses, everything you've built, everything you've worked for to this point, and trying to build her up and get into a new market and try to boost that up and different social media platforms and stuff, like, it's all for naught. Like, it's all for naught at this point. So that's the reason I hate this matchmaking most. Zhang Weili is going to wrestle in the fight. It's clear. That's why she went to fight Ray. That's why she's working with who she's working with. Rose Namajunas, it's clear. As she was asked at the press conference, like, it's obvious what she's going to try to do differently. So, I mean, yeah, I guess, like I'm intrigued. Like, what happens after 78 seconds? This fight will go a little bit longer, and I felt like Zhang Weili had a better chance in the first fight if the fight was extended. So how far can she extend this? Can she get out of the first round? Can she keep Rose from getting going? Because, again, she gets rolling. There is no more fun fighter to watch right now in women's MMA than Rose Namajunas, when she's out in space and she's boxing and landing those jabs and landing the kicks. Like, she's so smooth and fun to watch. So can John get in her face and just close that gap? I don't know, man. And she's got to do it quick, and she's got to do it for 25 minutes. That's her best chance of winning this fight. So I'm trying to find ways to get excited about it, but the matchmaking is so piss poor. It's so piss poor.
Whoa. Piss. The language, Mike. Piss poor. The number
I'm
one
sorry.
and number
It's just
two.
bad matchmaking.
strawweights.
Nobody asked for this fight. Nobody asked for this fight.
Number one and number two in the MMA fighting global rankings. I mean, how can that means something? The only rankings that matter. That has to mean. Again, I know we already saw them fight, but how can you begrudge a rematch? But no, I know what you're saying. 78 seconds. Did we need to see it right away? Of course, I'm kind of with you. I didn't. Casey, though, are you glad in a way though that we are potentially getting 5 more rounds to figure this out, to at least see these two great fighters after Rose's excellence robbed us of a more competitive fight in their first meeting?
No, I'm super excited about this fight. I hate the timing of this fight. I agree. I mean, this should be Carter Esparza's fight. There was a storyline. She deserved it. But UFC wants to make money, and Weili's there's more money in Weili. That's all there is. That's the only reason this fight was made. Money. But as far as the actual fight, super excited about it. I don't take the first fight as it was a win by Namajunas, but I think that's old news. It's much like 7-game basketball series, playoff series. Your team can get blown out in game 1. Doesn't mean they lose the series. Losses are losses. L's an L. Close L. Losing a close decision, same thing as getting knocked out in the first round. And I like Weili's camp change. I think she's going to be much more physical in this fight. And I think this is still going to go a lot of the ways as Rose versus Joanna too. Much more competitive, but I think Rose will just edge it out this fight still.
Hey, real quick, let me just jump in real quick. I'm maybe my language is a little more uppity, a little more eccentric, but I'm with Casey. Like, I'm basically saying the same thing as Casey. Like, I'm not. The fight is a cool fight. The timing of it sucks.
Yeah, it's just the timing.
That's my issue with this whole thing. And Carlos Esparza sitting at home watching this fight is a bunch of BS.
I agree. I think we all agree that this should be Esparza's spot. She should be fighting for the strawweight championship, for a chance to regain the strawweight championship. She was the inaugural champion at Madison Square Garden. What a great moment that would be for Carlos Esparza. But I think, again, given the popularity of Zhang Weili and Rose Namajunas, I don't think the UFC really even thought about that aspect of it, which is a shame. And hopefully Carla gets her due at some point. Rick, what were your thoughts when this was initially announced? And any difference between then and now?
I love this fight. I just think this makes for a better fight than Esparza versus Rose. In terms of competition and in terms of what I'm looking to see in a fight. Again, I think I'm aligned with everybody here that immediate rematches, especially when somebody's been starched like that, are not exactly great matchmaking. But again, at the end of the day, this fight is here, and it's a great fight on paper. I favored Zhang going into the first fight. I didn't see anything in that fight. It happened so quick. I didn't see anything in that fight that deters me from thinking that. I think what's interesting is there's a lot of people who feel that way. There's a lot of sentiment around that. And if you look at Rose versus Joanna the first time, Rose was a huge underdog. The rematch, she was again an underdog. Fast forward to today, the first fight against Zhang, she was an underdog. This fight so far, it's close to even money, but it's trending that she's going to be an underdog.
Really?
Wow. People with Rose need to see it twice for some reason, no matter how dominant the first performance is, and I'm not sure why that is. And even as I say that, I favor Zhang in this fight. I favored Zhang in the first fight. There wasn't enough that I saw in the first fight that deters me from that opinion. Now, if Rose comes out and blanks her for 5 rounds, I'm willing to say, like, hey, that was a bad read. But it's hard to really gauge what will happen in what happened in that first fight and extrapolate from there. Also, as Mike alluded to, the changes in camp, the changes in potential game plan, I think will favor her. So yeah, I like Zhang in this fight as a pick, but it's an interesting thing for me that no matter how good Rose does it, people don't believe it until she does it a second time. It's an interesting thing that seems specific to her.
Yeah, I don't know why. I got because with Joanna, she was dominant, and then I don't know if there was a thought that maybe Rose just caught her, and same with Zhang Weili, super dominant with 20
in the first Joanna fight,
and then the first Joanna fight. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people put a lot of blame on the weight cut for Joanna, which was really bad.
Sure.
I think a lot of it
brutal weight cut.
But
a lot of drama.
Rose seems to just catch a lot of people, a lot of good fighters. She seems to just catch them.
But do you think the odds also are out of respect for Zhang? Because again, she was on a 21 fight win streak. She won that war with Joanna. Before, outside of that, she was pretty, pretty dominant in her wins.
Incredibly dominant on her way to the belt. Mm-hmm. Incredibly dominant. Yeah.
But I think there is a bit of a trend. I don't know if it's because of Rose's personality. I don't know if it's because she's not this like sort of hulking 115er. You know, she's not like you wouldn't see Rose Namajunas and think like, oh, this girl's a beast. But if you see her fight, I mean, you would immediately think she's one of the most dangerous people.
She's long and lanky.
On planet Earth. She's long and lanky.
Yeah, just. Well, she had kind of the same build as kind of Joanna, but just doesn't do the I'm the boogie woman. She's just not like that, Yeah. Just long, lanky fighters, and she uses and just probably the best boxing in the strawweight division. Like Trevor Whitman, it's just the way Rose controls distance and moves her feet. Spicy meatball, so good.
Amazing. She's also very honest. I think she's very honest about struggles she's had with growing up, traumas she's had to deal with, and then the pressures of dealing with being a champion. She's been very honest about it. So that kind of honesty, I guess, doesn't play well with the odds makers. I guess they perceive it again as weakness or fragility, which it isn't at all. But again, we're talking about meat and potatoes here. We're talking about putting money on the line, and they're going to look for anything. So but I wasn't aware of that she was trending to be the underdog. So no respect for the champ once again. But that's kind of the
minus
kind of
125 for Zhang right now.
My goodness, people, this is the champ.
You know what?
But Zhang is very good.
Those are betting lines. I mean, I'm interested in what Tapology says. Honestly,
bring it up, Casey. Bring up the voting.
Just a straight pick.
The fan voting, please. Yeah, let me know. What people are picking.
The thing I'll say about the betting odds is, I think there's a lot of people out there like me who, the first fight you kind of didn't see enough to change your mind. Like, all due respect to Rose, great fight and very well may come in and spark her again. But you didn't see enough to think, okay, if I favor Zhang here, I'm going to let the cash ride on that again. And I think there's a bit of that, as well as respect for her dominance, as well as, again, like Rose doesn't have that intimidating presence. She's much more of an open, honest, kind of vulnerable type of fighter, and that doesn't lend itself as far as betting odds go, because a lot of that is driven not just by actual fighting ability, but perception. The betting odds are. So there's a lot of factors in play here, but I do find it odd that no matter how good Rose does it, there's something that prevents her from being the favorite in the second one. But we'll see. There's still time. Sharp money may come in on Rose at the very end.
Now, those are just betting odds. Now it's just straight pick 'em. It's just straight picks.
What is Tapology saying, Casey? What are they saying?
So 67% Rose, which is pretty significant.
67%.
67%, which that doesn't line up to that doesn't line up to the betting odds. So 67%.
No, that means that if you're one of those 67%, you're getting some great value on Rose Namajunas right now. If you want to lay down some.
Yep.
What about the main event, Casey?
81% for Mr. Usman.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
That's the gauge I'm getting as well. Yeah. All right, Mike. We are under an hour here. I think we can do another recap. I really thought we would have gotten someone in the past 15 minutes, but we've not. We've had a real break here. So, Mike, go ahead. Let's get another rundown. Maybe again, we'll do the weigh-in rain dance and shake loose another fighter here.
All right.
Okay. As Mark Ratner makes his way past Media Row. All right, the main event for the welterweight championship of the world is official. Kamaru Usman weighted at 169, Colby Covington 169.4. The strawweight championship co-main event is official as well. Rose Namajunas, Zhang Weili both weighed in at 115. Frankie Edgar weighted at 135.6. He takes on Marlon Cheeto Vera, weighed in at 135 on the nose. Featherweight banger Shane Burgos 145.6 takes on Billy Quarantillo 145.4 for Mr. Quarantillo. Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler will kick off the main card. That fight is official. Former interim champ in at 155.6. The former Bellator champ in at 155.2. Alex Pereira, 185.8 for his UFC debut. He takes on Andreas Michailidis, who has yet to hit the scale. Iaquinta weighted at 155.8 for his return to the octagon against Bobby Green, who weighted at 155.2. Phil Hawes, 185.4, welcomes Chris Curtis finally to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Curtis weighted at 186. Edmen Shahbazyan, 185.4, still awaiting the arrival of Nassourdine Imavov. Jordan Williams weighted at 170.6, taking on the debuting Garry. 169.6 for Mr. Garry. Still waiting on Gian Villante. Take your time, big boy. Takes on Chris Barnett's 263.8. Dustin Jacoby, still yet to hit the scale. Understandable. Less than a week's notice. Takes on John Alana, weighted at 205. Melisik Bagdasarian, weighted at 145.5. He will take on the debuting Machida Brothers product, Bruno Souza, who is yet to weigh in. Bruno Souza took this fight last Friday, so 8 days notice to cut that weight, so understandable. Ode Osbourne, weighted at 125.2. He will welcome CJ Vergara to the octagon, who has yet to hit the scale. Back to you, my best friend.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, as always. Phenomenal work with the rundown. I thought we would get a fighter to pop up and interrupt you, but look, they're taking their sweet time. As you mentioned, Gian Villante will not even be awake until probably 10:40 Eastern time, and then he'll just roll on down to the scale. Sorry, Casey, I did want to recap. Sorry, you were not around for the October 9th card, I think, the Fight Night UFC Vegas card, where Chris Curtis almost made his UFC debut. Did you hear about this?
What do you mean almost? How do you almost make your UFC debut? Tell me
how. So Phil Hawes was supposed to fight Deron Wynn at UFC on October 9th. UFC Fight Night 194, UFC Vegas, whatever. With Darren Wynn, 1 day before he's out. He's like, I think some sort of, was it injury, Mike? Health issues. I'm sorry. There was quote unquote health issues. That was the official word from the UFC. So Chris Curtis is in Vegas. He says, I'm ready to go. I can make 185. No problem. He rolls up. He successfully makes weight. We do a whole story on it. And then Mike is the whole time is you're talking to Hawes management, right?
I'm talking to both sides and trying to figure this out, because I had basically when this news broke, I was like, oh, of course I reached out to both sides to confirm. One side says yes, and then the other source comes back and says no. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Chris Curtis just weighed in. He goes, no, It's not happening. I'm like, then why why did he weigh in? And I'm just being told, like, I don't know, because we were working on this all night. Fight's not happening. Phil was like, yes, I'm not fighting a debut guy on a day's notice. Screw that noise. Like, which is smart on his part. I had no issue with him saying no to this fight whatsoever.
So he was.
Was there any controversy? I don't get the controversy. Was it just the UFC putting pressure on Hawes by having his opponent weigh in?
No, there's no controversy. I'm just letting you know, like, why I was saying before.
Wait, why did Curtis weigh in then if he had no opponent? I don't get it.
That's what crazy is.
Nobody really knew. The decision hadn't been officially made.
Hold on. Here he's rolled onto the scale. Hold on. Here he comes.
Gian Villante.
We'll get back to this. Let's Gian Villante first.
260.6, the official weight for Gian Villante.
260.6.
What a
guys,
man!
We weren't kidding when we said he was gonna. First of all, this man was not cutting weight for his last fight. He's like, no, I'm just gonna fight at heavyweight. It's my last fight. Why am I cutting down to 205? When we said he's gonna roll out of bed onto the scale, I mean, we were kind of speaking figuratively. He looks like he rolled out of bed and got on the scale.
As he should.
Oh,
and what does that mean? What does that mean, AK?
Oh, his fight with Beast Boy Chris Barnett. I can't believe this is a real fight, but it is official.
The Jed Meshew special.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sorry, okay, so as we were saying, there's no controversy with the Chris Curtis thing. We were just blown away because,
well,
Chris
it seems
Curtis
like there's a controversy because a man weighed in, cut weight, and then no one knows why.
Oh,
That seems
well,
a bit
no.
I mean, that seems to be mysterious.
There's no controversy.
No, we were saying,
no
what was I know. What was so bizarre about it was, it was, so we knew this only because Chris Curtis showed up and weighed in, and we're like, okay, well, it must be official, because as you're saying, Casey, why would they have a guy weigh in if the contracts weren't already signed? Both fighters agreed to the matchup. That makes sense. But like I said, then we Mike was saying, so we reported that it was happening, and then Mike, like I said, was hearing from the hot side, like they didn't sign anything. It's very strange.
We got people.
Andreas Michailidis.
I wonder if Alex Savage knows she has a fellow Greek fighting on this card. Oh, he's backwards.
He's backwards.
£185, the official weight for Andreas Michailidis.
185 for Michailidis, championship weight. And his fight with newcomer Alex Pereira is official. All right, really just a handful of guys left. But yes, to put a bow on the Curtis thing. It was very strange. Thankfully, that they did just say, well, let's just rebook it for another card. Now they get to fight in a much bigger platform, Madison Square Garden. But yes, classic kind of weird MMA screwiness. They probably should not have had Chris Curtis hit the scale, but I guess they assumed Hawes was going to take it. Hawes very wisely was like, I'm not fighting someone who I didn't prepare for, a very dangerous guy on 1 day's notice. So, but yes, Chris Curtis.
I've never heard that before ever happening. Where one
I don't
side of
think
a
it
fight
ever
weighs
has
in
happened before.
and the other. This is blowing my mind. I don't understand how this happens at the highest level of the sport. How one person weighs in and the other person has no idea the person's even have a fight. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, so in addition to all of that, if memory serves me correctly, this is one of those like early start time cards too. So the weigh-ins were like earlier in the morning. So as Hawes was cutting, so basically what happened was Hawes found out that Duran Wynn was out of the fight while he was in the sauna, like cutting weight. So it was left, from what I was told, to Hawes is going to think about it and figure out if he wants to take it. So he was just going to focus on cutting the weight and stuff. And then negotiations were going on. They were trying to figure out if both sides were in. UFC just went forward as if both sides are in. And then at the 11th hour, Hawes decided, no.
That's all I needed to hear. UFC just assumed. Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
I get it now. I get it now.
Pretty much.
I get it now. It was a pressure thing. It was a pressure thing. I got you.
But AK and I probably throughout the whole process, because we've watched Chris Curtis come so close for years.
Oh my gosh!
A guy who
retired many times.
He retired in the middle
many
of
times.
a PFL tournament and
then came back.
He retired and then fought like an hour and a half later. I mean, this is the story of Chris
I remember that guy.
Career.
Okay, that's him.
PFL,
I remember that story.
PFL, yeah.
I remember that story.
But he's here now. Now the fight's happening. And look at this. Now he's at MSG, out of the Apex on one of the biggest cards of the year. This worked out perfect.
Yeah, if you watch, I know all three of you watched me, four of you watched Media Day, but he's even said like, well, maybe Phil Hawes is a mad genius because now we're fighting at Madison Square Garden, so maybe this was the plan all the time, the whole time.
And Curtis fights at 170.
For a long
Okay, so the big weight, so the weight cut for the previous weight cut wasn't like the worst thing in the world.
No.
Okay,
He just showed up. Yeah,
things, now little pieces are coming back together. I need the whole story, AK. Come on.
We didn't have time. We didn't have time. I was trying to explain to you, but you were so
befuddled.
befuddled. You were so confused and frightened.
This is a novel.
No, Jose was right. Jose was right. We had to he was like, move it along till later. So thank you, Jose. He was right. But as Jose always mentions, by the way, nothing is official until the two fighters are in the cage, touching gloves, fighting. So Chris Curtis is officially on the UFC roster. He's second time he's officially weighed in, and fingers crossed, will officially have a UFC fight on his record after this weekend. But again, the Jose rule.
Oh, sorry, I heard official and I just started hitting
buttons. That's good. That's good.
Sorry,
that's good.
I'm zany.
The Jose rule until it happens. There's no such thing as as guaranteed. So
that's right.
Jose?
He
What's
said
up?
that's right.
I was just saying that's right.
Okay.
It is the Jose
Okay.
rule.
It is the Jose rule, and it is, again, has been proven many times. A fight can be canceled up to very many times, but they've some pretty wild last day of or in the cage cancellations, like with Chaz Skelly. So anyway, we're now just waiting on Nassourdine Imavov, Dustin Jacoby, Bruno Souza, and CJ Carlos Vergara, or Carlos CJ Vergara. Anyway, CJ Vergara. So we don't have all the fights official yet, but I think now is as good a time as any. Rick, if you are prepared.
Look at this comment.
Well, let me
Look
read
at
this,
that.
let me read this comment from the Anvil, from you, our lovely YouTubers. This room ain't big enough for New York Rick, Casey's stash, and AK Lee's ego. What the? A man celebrates his actual birthday once, and I have an ego? This is absurd. What?
I need a bigger monitor for this ego.
This is absurd. I have a large head. It doesn't mean I have a big ego.
We were talking about that earlier.
Well, I was about to refer to one of my colleagues, but I have such a big ego. Maybe I should just keep talking. No, let's now's Rick, if you're ready, now's as good a time as any. I think you might get interrupted. Be prepared. You might get interrupted by someone coming up.
By Dustin Jacoby?
But we can always
CJ Vergara.
like Dustin Jacoby or CJ Vergara. But please go ahead. Let's do it. This is exciting for me. I get to introduce Rick's picks.
We had the music or what?
Oh God!
Let me play the Rick's Picks music.
You have it?
No.
Mike, can you hum it?
Rick's picks are
Mike, how
lots
about
of
the
fun,
acapella version?
and his
I'm
hair
kidding.
is in a bun. You all know what it is. Rick's picks.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Condensed
Thank you
version.
for that. Thank you for that, Mike. What do I like on this card? I didn't allude to it. I flatly said it earlier. I think there's a little bit of value on Zhang Weili. I favored her coming into the first fight. I favor her again coming into this fight. I think even more so. I like the idea of her moving camp to US and getting in with a strong team. I think that will only benefit her. So I favor her. I think the pressure, I think the aggression, I think the forward movement is going to be a lot for Rose to deal with. Certainly, she has the tools to counter there, as we saw in the first fight. But I don't think it will go quite the same. So I like her there. I also like, we were just talking about Chris Curtis. I like the under in that fight. I think Hawes and Curtis is one that's going to go short. Hawes' gas tank isn't great. Curtis is fighting a weight class up. He's a very good 170er, but we'll see how that translates at 185. I think fighting at a weight class up is always a strain on the cardio for a smaller man like him, and I think that one's got high potential for ending before it sees the third round. So I like the under there, and I like Frankie Edgar. I like Frankie Edgar against Marlon Vera. I think the volume is going to be a little bit too much. I think he's a little too varied. I don't think Cheeto necessarily has the finishing ability or the explosiveness of somebody like a Sandhagen who's liable to get Frankie Edgar out of there. Certainly he can, but most of the time he's going to be a volume guy. I think Frankie Edgar is the best volume guy. So I think contrasting styles, I think Frankie Edgar is going to be able to be the one pushing the pace and getting in the cleaner shots and mixing in the wrestling as well if he needs to at times. So I favor the veteran Frankie Edgar there. So those are some of the picks that I like on this card. I'm a little bit surprised, but I don't know what to make of the fight just because of how long Iaquinta has been out. But I'm surprised to see him as an underdog to Bobby Green. Again, it might be due to that activity. But I think before, if this fight had happened years ago when Al was, competing more frequently and more regularly, I don't think there's any doubt he would be a favorite over Bobby Green, who, to his credit, has had a great run in the pandemic. Bobby Green has. And put on an amazing fight in his last one. But I'm a little bit surprised, I will say, to see Iaquinta. I don't like to think about or play anything with that much uncertainty just due to the layoff. But it's one to, if you're feeling frisky, I think there's an interesting line there with Iaquinta.
I should actually thank you, Rick. Thank you. That was Rick's picks, everyone. I should have prefaced that with I tell people never gamble at MMA, but again, that's I live my life with the least danger possible, so don't listen to me. But yeah, there's definitely, it looks like there's some value in some of these. I'm glad you picked Frankie Edgar. I agree. That's probably where I'm leaning as well. I am a big Frankie Edgar fan, so I'm biased, but I like what you said. I do think there's a contrast in styles there that favors Edgar. Despite I know a lot of people being very high on Marlon Vera and are very excited that he's finally kind of got this top 10 opponent that he could break into it himself. But I don't think Edgar's going to be the guy to welcome him into the top 10 in a nice way. What do you think about some of the? I mean, I don't know. I guess some of us don't know a lot about some of these undercard fights, but guys like like a Jordan Williams, obviously, I think he's the biggest underdog there. Would you take a chance on like a Jordan Williams?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think Ian Garry is set up in this fight to have a showcase to show that he's one of the next guys. I think Jordan Williams is definitely capable. He's shown that he has that, on Contender Series and then in the UFC. But that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
You got movement.
Gary's set up for success here.
All right, again, Rick, we have movement here.
I'm excited about this gentleman.
$184.6, the official weight for Nassourdine Imavov.
Imavov coming in was at 184.6. His fight with Edmen Shahbazyan is now official.
It's not official until it's on the screen, young man.
There's another rule now. Okay,
that's always been the rule. That has always been the rule. You know
it's
this.
Always been the
you and your big ego. Did it push out that rule and your brain can't contain it?
It's like this now. People, clip this for later. All right, I want these clips.
No,
this is some new rule. Clip it.
New rule.
Rules. Hey, look, if it's a new rule, I'll respect it.
It was always a rule.
I'm not familiar with this.
Forgot the rule.
I forgot nothing. How dare you? I'm actually surprised, Rick, that you mentioned Iaquinta Bobby Green, just because I feel like Bobby Green fights are so unpredictable. He's been to a decision his last. I made a note here, how many times? He's 11 fights or something like that. He goes to a decision a lot, and he's usually not happy about it, and he's usually very confused when he loses. 10 fights, 10 straight decisions for Bobby Green, several which has gone his way. And I don't know. I'm amazed anyone would put money on a fight like that. But again, I'm not a gambler. I don't know what people.
That's the thing. I wouldn't, but more so because I don't know what Iaquinta's been doing and what he's been up to. But if this fight was happening, if the paper laid out a few years ago, it's an Iaquinta play. I just think he has the solid foundation, the kind of style where he can strike capably enough and then mix in the grappling and give Bobby Green problems. But Bobby Green's never in a boring fight. That's for damn sure. I expected him to be exciting.
He's in weird fights.
Yeah, that's a prop bet fight right there. That's a.
He's
fight
always in weird fights.
He's not in boring fights. But he's in weird fights. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's an original. Yeah, say what you want about Bobby Green. He is one of MMA's originals. Raging Al, fighting for the first time since October 6th, 2019. That's just over 760 days. It's been a while, and we're always hearing where's Iaquinta? When's he coming back? He should be matched up with this guy, with this guy, with this guy. So here we go. This hopefully is his first fight to him coming back and going back another run, possibly. Very, very good fighter.
Was his last fight the loss to Hooker in Australia?
Yes, correct. Yep, that is it. Yeah. Let's go, guys. Let's look at sleepers here as far as exciting fights. Mike, you said you're a big fan. You think this card is super stacked. If you had to pick one, Mike. Pick one. What is your sleeper banger of Saturday?
Oh man, pick one.
Pick one.
I will go. Man, I mean, there's some really good fights. I'm giving two. I don't care. I think the first two fights are really gonna be great fights. I really do. I think they're matched up beautifully. I love Oday Osbourne's style. I like that he's changed camps, so his fight IQ is gonna grow a little bit. Taking on just an absolute monster in CJ Vergara. I love that fight. That is a perfect way to start off a card of this magnitude. These two guys, their styles, I love it. And then Melzik Bagdasaryan and Bruno Souza. You got K1 guy with over 100 K1 fights, tremendous striker, taking on a karate kid, like doing karate since he was 4 years old with the Michailidis, transition into MMA. Guys won 10 fights in a row. He can stand. His ground game is vastly underrated, if we're being honest. He's got some big wins. This fight's going to play out on the feet, especially on 8 days' notice. Sousa's going in there with nothing to lose, and he's taking on a guy who's going to stand there and try to kick his face off. So I love that fight. Those two fights are going to start off this card magically. So I'll go with both those. I'm cheating. I'm
Mike,
doing it.
You're my best friend, so I'll let you get away with it. Not only did you pick 2 fights, you picked 2 fights that aren't even official yet. You're such a rebel. You're such a
Positive
rebel. I'm
vibes.
amazed we allow you on these broadcasts. You think I'd be prepared by now? What a line stepper. God, what a habitual line stepper. Jose, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Jose, can I get your, you're going to be in the building. Can I get your sleeper banger of this card?
I'm very excited to watch Dustin Jacoby fist fight. I think he's so fun to watch. I absolutely love watching Dustin Jacoby throw elbows because he was like, as Eric knows better than anyone, you can't really throw elbows in glory kickboxing, so he was kind of handcuffed for so long during his run there. And I was at his Contender Series fight. And I asked, because he threw a ton of elbows in that. And I asked him, I go, oh man, does it feel good to just let those things fly? So I'm very excited to watch Dustin Jacoby fist fight a human being in front of me. So if I had to pick one, I'm not picking the fight because I think it's going to be kind of one-way traffic. But I think I'm very excited to watch Dustin Jacoby do the damn thing. And I'm very disappointed we never got to watch him fight Gokhan Saki in the octagon because that's one fight he really wanted in an MMA fight. And I don't think we'll ever get to see him fight Shogun. That's another fight he's also really wanted. So, but whoever he fights, I'm going to tune in and watch.
Did Jacoby mention he wanted to fight Pereira ever again?
Different weight class. Aren't they in different weight classes right now?
Yeah, but they fought but I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. They fought in glory. Calling out people that are. Yeah, I guess he just called out guys that are in his weight class lately. So, but no, I've never heard him call them out.
Pereira moved down in weight. Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, the second UFC act of Dustin Jacoby has been wildly entertaining, and it's just a great story. Like years between his first run of UFC and his first win. Yeah,
I would say I bet people remember his first 2 fights before he got cut in the UFC, but they weren't even televised. One of them was bumped, and one of them was on the Facebook prelims.
Yes.
So he didn't even get to fight on TV until his Contender Series fight. Not even on TV. So he didn't even get to fight until like his UFC debut.
So it was very much people meeting him, his second run, people meeting him for the first time, at least in the UFC. Casey, here, give me a banger. I'm sure Dustin Jacoby.
You mean competitive fights or who's going to kind of showcase?
What showcase you looking forward to?
Imavov. I think Imavov is the best middleweight on this card.
Yes, right.
And I'm just shocked Shahbazyan's people took this fight. Coming off 2 bad losses. And, I just don't understand it. But, Imavov has been super impressive. I thought he was on his way to actually beating Phil Hawes when the first time they fought. And then Imavov's last performance against Ian Heinisch was just super good. He actually made it look so easy. That's why he didn't win the bonus. Because it was just too one-sided. It was like they just clearly that was a mismatch. We're not going to get that guy 50K. But I definitely like Imavov a lot. As far as just a back-and-forth crazy fight, Burgos, Billy Q. That fight, I think, is just going to be – I mean, I'm picking Burgos, but, we talk about just pure excitement in the cage. We always talk about Justin Gaethje. Man, but let's give a little shine to Shane Burgos. Has that gentleman ever been in a boring 30 seconds in the UFC? At least I don't know, but I think he's incredibly underrated as far as excitement. Well, he's not underrated in terms of excitement. That's why the UFC has him so high on the card. So I just hope.
Go ahead, Casey.
Go
ahead.
Because I don't want people to get hurt, and I know Burgos is like, I didn't even get a concussion in that last fight. I was like, that's weird. Then, but you shouldn't have gotten a concussion. That's good. Concussions aren't bad. That's your brain telling you take a break. But I hope everything's good with him physically. But I'm super excited for Burgos, Billy Q. Billy Q is awesome. I love Billy Q.
Burgos coming home, getting to fight in Madison Square Garden again for the first time since UFC 244. TKO win over Makwan Amirkhani. And as you said, one of the most exciting guys at 145 pounds. So that's a good one. New York Rick, it's slim pickings. I mean, you could just mention one someone's already mentioned, but is there one that hasn't been mentioned that you feel like we need to put some more shine on here?
Yeah, Billy Q, Shane Burgos is the one that I'm most excited about. I will say for as long as it lasts, there's a really low floor and a really high ceiling on Beast Boy and Villante.
Yes.
That should be the best fight on the card.
That was the assumption. I just assumed that was the
Given,
that
right?
fight's gonna roll.
Yeah.
That's not low key. That's not low key.
Like those gentlemen are not low key.
Right.
No, it doesn't qualify as low key. No.
The people's main event is the one that might have some potential. But no, I mean, I agree with Mike. Like top to bottom, even the first two, every fight on this card, there's something interesting here, and you can't say that often. I think this is one of the best cards in a long time. I'm very excited about this one.
It's a great looking card. Casey, I want to touch on something you said. You were mentioning, of course, Shane Burgos, never in a boring fight. So let's discuss the bonuses. It's going to be tough to get a bonus in this card. There's a lot of star power. So already, I think if there's a finish in either the main or co-main event, probably one of them will be favored, unless even if it's something mundane. We've seen that they tend to give these high wattage fights. They lean towards giving them bonuses, which seems counterintuitive to us. You would think you'd want to splash the extra cash in some of the lower card people, but that's not how these trends go.
Niggas Canadian. Niggas Canadian spreading the wealth. Jeez.
Spreading.
That's not how it works in America.
What a bunch of commies we are up here. So let's go. So Casey, I'll go to you first. Let's predict some bonuses. And let's assume. Oh, no, let's not assume anything. I was going to say let's assume fight of the night and 2 performance. No, if you think this.
Okay, I'm going on my picks, not how the UFC does it. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, you do it your way.
Yeah, performance. Imavov. Ooh, I'm gonna go Phil Hawes and fight of the night Burgos Billy Q.
Okay, Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we're set up for Alex Pereira to get a knockout and look good here. So I think that's probably a performance. And then I really think, and my read could be completely off on this. I've never thought that the Gaethje Chandler fight was going to be that competitive, and maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm in the minority there. I haven't really discussed it with many people, but I just don't think Chandler's style is one that Gaethje hasn't seen or can't counter or isn't going to be able to dispatch of. So I think I could also see a performance bonus for Justin Gaethje. I think the top 2 fights will be more competitive and won't necessarily lead to opportunities like that. But I think Gaethje is the one that has the highest profile, that I think if Justin Gaethje can do what I think he's capable of doing to Michael Chandler, that he'd be lined up for a performance bonus as well. So I'm thinking those might be my 2 performance bonuses. And then fight of the night, I want to say Burgos and Billy Q, but I feel like that's the obvious one that's never going to hit, and something else is going to be crazy. You know what? Let's do Iaquinta and Bobby Green. I feel like we're in for a scrap with that one. So I'll pick that one for fight of the night.
Real quick for New York Rick. For the Chandler Gaethje, is it because you think Chandler is just overvalued, or this is just a bad matchup for Chandler?
It's a bad matchup for Chandler.
Okay,
I think the counters that he's going to be waiting for are not necessarily going to be there. I think Gaethje's going to be able to eat up his legs. I think Mike made a great point about how Chandler has countered kicking games in the past, but I just think that Gaethje's going to be able to take away his best weapons, and then the power is going to be there as the fight kind of goes on, and I think he'll be able to put Chandler away. Can Chandler have his moments? Can Chandler have his opportunities? Always. He's that explosive, that dangerous, and he's proven that he has that. But I don't think Gaethje is the type of guy who it's easy to style on and do that against. I think he's going to be in that fight and probably chewing up his legs. So I just think bad style matchup for Chandler, in my opinion. I think Gaethje's a tough out for him.
Is anyone picking anyone picking Chandler?
Nope.
I'm not, but I think he has a chance.
I think we got
I think you can follow. I think you can follow the Eddie
I just think
Alvarez.
I think it's
game
interesting.
plan.
Like a fight that we're so as highly anticipated, but everyone thinks it's one sided too. I just think that's kind of an interesting dynamic.
I'm anticipating
Movement.
it because it's
sorry.
just a Gaethje.
Division.
All right, here.
Dustin Jacoby.
Dustin Jacoby, very popular person in our discussions.
Sorry, Jose. I couldn't. I had you turned down a bit. Can you say what you said again?
Once Dustin weighs in.
203.6, the official
Damn.
weight for Dustin Jacoby.
203.6. Looking good. Looking good in the scale. Dustin Jacoby.
On less than a week's notice. That's impressive.
Yes. And that fight with John Alan is now official.
Alan.
Anik is still standing over there, so we might have someone right away.
Okay. We'll wait. I'll just sort of recap. So I think Rick, you
Or
said
not, or not.
Gaethje, Pereira, and you fight of the night could be Iaquinta Green. Casey, what did you said Imavov, Shahbazyan possibly fight of the night, right? And what were your performance picks?
No. Oh no. Sorry. Say it again. No, I said Imavov
Shahbazyan
performance.
Imavov performance. Excuse me.
Phil Hawes performance.
And Burgos
Quarantillo for fight of the night.
Right.
Now that probably won't happen because so much of the performances go toward the top of the card. But if this is all even, then I pick those guys. Yes.
Yeah, same. I think Usman's going to knock out Covington, so I think Usman gets one of them. I don't know, but I think Garry might get one, though he is a little bit lower on the card. I do think he'll get one, and I think Gaethje Chandler will be more. I think it will be more exciting than you guys are saying, so I'll go with that fight of the night. Mike, what do you think?
Vera, Garry, Gaethje Chandler will be fight of the night. It's not going to go 15 minutes. It could go 4 minutes, but it's still going to be fight of the night. And I'm going to make hot take heck coming out of the woodwork here.
Whoa.
Michael Chandler is going to hurt Justin Gaethje in this fight. He's going to – I don't know if he like full on drops him, but he's going to drop him to a knee. He's going to land a big shot, and he's going to hurt Gaethje. But Gaethje is such a savage that he's just going to eat it for lunch. He's going to get up, and he's going to stop Michael Chandler either in the second round or late in the first. It's going to be a wild fight for as long as it lasts. I think it's I don't know if it will exceed the hype because we bestowed so much hype upon this fight immediately, but I think this fight will live up to it for as long as it lasts. So I think that's going to be the fight of the night. It's going to be a wild affair. It might only go 4 minutes, but it's going to be a fun 4 minutes where Chandler's going to land a big shot. Gaethje's going to come out of it and probably get a finish late in the first or early in the second. So there you go.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect read on it. I think a super scorching first round at the end. You're right, and it either ends in the last minute.
Hot take, Casey.
Chandler
wins round 1 by wrestling and controlling Gaethje on the cage. Wins round 1, but gets knocked out round 2.
Rick,
that's
what do you have to say?
a hot take. That's a hot take. I don't think
he gasses himself out trying to control Gaethje on the ground.
I think Gaethje's going to sprawl his ass off and not have any problem dealing with Michael Chandler's wrestling. I've never seen put the Khabib fight aside, which I think we can do for every opponent that Khabib has ever faced. Gaethje just knows how to get those hips down. I don't see anybody getting in on him, including Michael Chandler. So
he's never fought Michael Chandler.
Yeah, we'll see. I
know what you're saying too, but I just think style wise, I know it's cliche. He hasn't, you've never fought me, but I actually do believe that. I think Michael Chandler is a slightly different beast. I don't think he's better than Dustin Poirier or Eddie Alvarez or any of Gaethje's previous opponents that have beat him. But I do think Chandler does have the wrestling to take Gaethje down, but does not have the submission grappling that Khabib had. So that's the difference.
Yeah, then I think it's fair to say that I'm kind of on an island there because I think Gaethje cruises, but you guys are predicting a little bit more excitement.
I think he cruises.
All right, me and Jose.
Jose, can I get your bonus predictions?
Ian, because they probably just want to, start that hype train early as he's standing right there with his missus. Speak of the devil. Ian, Gaethje. probably the main event for fight of the night.
Is that
And that's
Garry
it.
practicing his golf swing?
Yes,
Okay, just double
That's
checking.
Pretty
Future.
good,
and that
pretty
is
good
his.
stroke right there.
That's his.
Maybe with a future on
that is his.
PGA.
That is his Mrs. / manager, Layla Annaly.
Yes,
the UK
very talented
presentator
broadcaster,
that
Layla Annaly. Yeah.
You may know her from such things as Cage Warriors broadcasts or the, I don't know how to pronounce it, the FIFA awards.
I believe she also did voiceover at the Olympics, if I'm not mistaken, the Olympics in London.
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
She
very
did,
talented,
in Karate
very
Combat.
talented broadcaster. Yeah. Okay. Well, and I lost my train of thought with Ian Garry's golf swing. I'm just analyzing Ian Garry's golf swing. Oh, yeah, I was going to ask, guys, what would be the most shocking results? Because I would think Jordan Williams knocking out Ian Garry would be up there, but it's not. It's obviously a little bit lower down the card. Would one of the challengers winning shock you more? Well, Jose, while I have you, what for you would the most shocking result on Saturday's card were to go down?
If Alex Pereira pulled the guillotine.
Wins by first round submission, guillotine choke.
Biggest shocking would be could be the winner, if Kamaru Usman flying roundhouse kicks Colby Covington. I'd be pretty surprised.
Hey, Jose, what does Gary's mask say? He keeps putting his mask on. It says something, but I can't read it.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry,
I think
it's right in front of you. That's why. It said the F word, and then across his mouth. I didn't know what to say.
I don't think it's.
We can't.
It might be the future. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's probably something future related, or
the
the
F word being the future. Yeah, gotcha.
Yes, yeah. We're still trying to figure out VVBV. I think. I don't know. Did anyone get a guess?
Did you ask around?
Anything?
Jose, what's the word down there?
Knows. Literally nobody knows.
It's a error. It's got to just be a typo.
I have absolutely no idea.
Very brutal and violent.
It was one of those where they wrote something out. They wrote 2 title fights, or they wrote something, and then they backspaced it by accident and started typing something else on a different document, and then whoops, it went onto the banner. That's exactly what happened.
I love it. Number 1 fighting organization in the world, people. It happens to all of us now. It's just we're just having a laugh. Rick, what would shock you? Obviously, some of the scenarios that Jose presented, but maybe thinking a little more conventionally, what would be a shocking result on Saturday?
Yeah, what would be a shocking result? I feel like a lot of these. Yeah, it's tough. You know what would shock me? It would truly shock me if Rose Namajunas repeated the performance and just absolutely obliterated Zhang Weili. That would shock me. I think it's a much more competitive fight than we saw in the first one. So that would shock me. But again, I'm leaning toward Zhang, so that shouldn't be surprising that I would have that opinion or feel that way. But that would shock me. That would shock me if Rose was able to do it that easily again. I think we saw the Joanna rematch. Those two were pretty evenly matched. Clearly, Rose was better. I think that's clear across the 2 fights. But we at least saw the competition come out in that second fight. I think we will see something similar in this fight, whether she wins or loses. I think it'll be more competitive. So that would shock me.
Yeah, another sub 2-minute finish for Rose. It would be she hit the bullseye the first time and then throwing the next dart right in the center of the dart that you just threw. It would be pretty crazy. Mike, what are you thinking? What are you thinking for shocking results? What would blow your mind?
I'll go a little low key. If John Alon beats Dustin Jacoby, that'd probably be the most shocking thing that I would see on this card. I think Dustin. Even on short notice like this, I think Dustin rolls here. And if I'm Dustin Jacoby and he does what I believe he's going to do and put John Alon away in quick fashion, get on that microphone and call out Johnny Walker. That's what you got to do, Dustin Jacoby. Get out there and say, Johnny Walker, I want a piece of you. All respect, bro. Maybe we'll play some golf after, but let's go. Me and you. That's what you got to do. Call it a top 15 guy. I think Johnny Walker's a great pick for a call out. So that's what I think you should do. This is a showcase opportunity at MSG. Big crowd. Lots of eyeballs. Do the damn thing.
Well, on to the next one preview. I like it. Always plugging the show, Mike. Always plugging on the next one every Sunday, our podcast.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, and then check it out on Mondays. Casey, you've seen it all. You've seen everything. What could shock you at UFC 268?
Shocking would be actually a dominant decision victory from Covington, like controlling Usman like he did Woodley. That would be shocking to me. And Chandler winning a boring decision would be shocking to me, just because he got Gaethje to fight 15 minutes in a boring fight. That would be shocking.
I'll say I will be a little bit shocked, regardless of the result, if Usman and Covington bury the hatchet. I know we see this all the time. I get it. I know we see.
Your shocking is the drama after the fight. That's going to be not the actual fight. It's going to be the hatchet.
The animosity. I know we said Usman doesn't really care, but I think win or lose. I mean, Covington will be insufferable if he wins. I can't imagine Usman being in any.
He's going to be insufferable if he wins. If
well, I would hope if he loses, he'll be a little bit more humble about it, and no more complaints last time, and having to deal with an injury. His jaw was broken, and obviously just the emotional charge of that.
That's a HIPAA violation. That's a HIPAA violation. Can't be talking about that.
I'm in his position. I'm in a position. I can do whatever I want. I'm Canada. We don't have HIPAA. I'm in Canada. We don't have that here. Doctors are allowed to talk about everyone's afflictions all they want. But I do think I would be surprised. Michael Harris, by the way, on the screen. New York Rick is back, baby. He is. He's back, coming in hot.
I'm changing my answer.
Oh, go, Mike.
Based on what you said, AK, most shocking thing that'll happen, and it should happen, but it's going to be shocking if it does. Dana White, after the event, says Carlos Esparza is the next challenger for the title.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening. You're right. That wins. That's not happening.
So
he's never going to say.
Update on the mask, but I'll tell you after this.
Bruno Souza coming up, the Machida product protege.
$148.4, the official weight for Bruno Souza.
148.4. This young man is over.
Not in the pro wrestling way.
No, this is not how you get over in MMA.
Yeah, sure. I mean, listen, short notice, took this fight on about a week's notice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nothing else booked.
Yeah.
You take the opportunity. I mean, still, he should have made weight, but
it can't make weight dangerously.
There are
even shaved his head.
I do believe there are excusable misses.
Yeah, that sounds like one. I hope the UFC doesn't hold this against him. I wish the UFC would just, when they do these short notice fights, don't make these fighters do these dangerous, stupid weight cuts. Just, you're in short notice. Okay, the fight's at 150. Just do something like that. Stop trying to kill these guys for crap that we don't care about.
This falls upon the UFC and the managers as well. Like, they got to negotiate catch weights a week under. I get it. These guys I understand the warrior culture. They're like, no, I can make it. If I sign on to a fight, I can make it 1 week, 3 days, 2 days. I can do it. But you got to protect these guys from themselves. Maybe he could have made it. I don't know. But why, Casey, like you're saying, why are we making him do it?
I tell you what happens. Like, when the fight falls out and the matchmakers are calling a bunch of 45ers and they're going, oh, can we have it at 150? We can have 150. Because the managers are trying to do that. But then the matchmaker's like, I want someone to fight at featherweight. And then Bruno Silva's like, yeah, tell him I'll make featherweight. And he doesn't. And then everyone's mad, So the one guy that just has to lie about his weight will get the fight, So it's a stupid system.
No, yeah, you're correct. So we are just waiting on CJ Vergara.
Did you guys, in non-MMA news, is this Darren Williams or just Frank Gore fight actually happening?
What happened?
I'm sorry, what's happening?
This is the most unbelievable thing I've heard. Darren Williams, former NBA All-Star, is going to get in a fist fight with Frank Gore on the undercard of Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. Frank Gore, one of the top 5 NFL rushing leaders ever.
I don't know either.
Wow, Sam's Charania.
Yeah, I wasn't talking to Casey. I was talking
to
reliable
score.
Alex and Mike.
Right. Oh, okay. Darren Williams is,
Casey,
I believe,
you should know Darren Williams as a former guest on the MMA Hour, of course.
Is he a basketball player?
Oh, that's right.
That's what I said. 3-time NBA All-Star.
Oh, the basketball player.
Yes.
Yeah, a bunch of tattoos, right?
That's
That
a
is
lot of them,
all
but
of the basketball players, sir.
Well,
That's almost
all right.
But
Oh,
yeah,
the
Tall
big
guy,
MMA
tall
fan.
guy, right? Yeah.
And I believe a gym owner, and a practitioner
Yes.
of the martial
Oh, at
arts.
Fortis,
Yeah,
right?
Frank Gore.
Yes.
And Frank Gore
Oh, okay.
is awesome to interview.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at this now. This is, as you said, from Shams Shrani on The Athletic. This is December 18th, the Jake Paul Tommy Fury boxing card. So this is apparently a 192-pound catch weight. And I don't know. It does not say whether it will be. I don't believe it says whether it be pro. I assume exhibition, but not necessarily.
Chris Avila is fighting on the card too.
Fighting Anthony Taylor.
Yeah.
A rematch.
A rematch from an MMA to boxing rematch.
Which I
That's a
want
done
more
deal, by
of.
the way.
I want more of. I want
Oh, okay.
battles in different combat sports.
It just says here, Darren Williams will be 6 inches taller. Obviously, he's a basketball player. He's 6'3", and he's facing a running back, not typically known for their height. So he will have a 6-inch height advantage over Frank Gore. So that's gonna look funny.
Frank Gore is the man.
So there we go.
Frank Gore is somehow found the fountain of youth in the NFL. He was like 40 when he retired.
This could be pro.
Teams
This
still
is in
interested in him.
He absolutely still could be playing.
This is in Tampa, Florida, by the way. So this could be pro. It would not surprise me if they just said, "Yeah, you guys want to get paid pro money? There's a pro fight. Get in there." Oh, brother, what is going on with combat sports?
We're talking about. People love this. What's going on? It sounds kind of negative.
Where's Doja Cat? Where's Doja Cat?
Exactly.
That's just my question. Anytime any of these things get in, I heard like Metallica is performing at some weird mixed martial arts.
Metallica. That's for old dudes.
This one, isn't it?
Old dudes.
No, it's a different event.
It's the Triller. Right?
That's the Triller Triad fight event. Yeah, it's a different. Frank Mir,
Metallica wants to push their whiskey that's on all the billboards here in New York. They have
what is it called?
They have I don't give a crap. They have known alcohol
I don't give a crap whiskey.
recoverer. They have a known alcoholic who's in constant recovery in James Hetfield, front and center on the billboards. I'm like, this is just poor taste, my guys.
You do not approve. It is called blackened whiskey. Blackened whiskey.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
We are, guys, 10 minutes under here, waiting for one more person, CJ Vergara. We already saw Bruno Souza come in that last 15-minute window and miss. So again, I don't know a lot. Mike, I don't know if you know more about it. CJ Vergara's weigh-in history, if making 125 is an issue for him at all. But I think this is the point where people can start sweating a little bit, as it were, about CJ successfully making weight. So
I'm sweating. I'm kind of.
He missed.
The man this card was built around too.
He missed 2 years ago for Fury FC. He was 128.2. He fought at a catch weight of 130. But he made 125 fine for his two fights, two title fights, or his last two fights.
Oh, this is the guy who beat up Bruno Correa.
Oh yeah,
I don't like
beat up is an understatement.
I don't like that. Tough Brazil, never die. Bruno Correa. I was now I remember this guy. I'm very, very upset to see that he stifled Bruno's UFC dreams after Bruno was not signed off of the Ultimate Fighter Brazil, which was a tragedy. Not really, but
nasty knee to the body.
We're talking tough Brazil now. Is that have we run out of things to talk about? We're talking about tough.
Brazil. Listen, Bruno Correa. I don't know if you guys have seen Tough Brazil. It's great. It's a great show where they have the fighters, and they also had a Octagon Girl reality competition on the side, like who will be the next UFC Octagon Girl, and he was dating one of them on the show. It was great. I'm just saying, the Ultimate Fighter is great, and if you guys have never watched the Brazil editions, they're fantastic. Almost 6 minutes to go. I don't like the looks of this, guys. I think it's fair to say, Mr. Vergara, hopefully he at least shows up and weighs in so Oday Osbourne can have himself a fight with some sort of purse penalty at a catch weight. It'd be very unfortunate if we lost a fight in this card, especially the preliminary opener. And again, like we said, we think Oday Osbourne, very talented. Definitely want to see him get in there and get a chance to get a win at 125 pounds. But time is ticking away. Jose,
What?
Is Souza gonna get an extra hour?
I haven't heard. I highly doubt it because he seems right. He didn't use a towel, didn't use any. He got on the scale, weighed in, and then bowed, posed, got out of here. So I highly doubt it. He looked done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably the right thing to do.
He
Even
got
if
far
they
over,
did give him
yeah.
another hour, I don't think there's any interest in wanting to make that. But as far as you know, there is the option in New York, right? Jose, it's pretty standard. That you do have the option of another hour. Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
changes state to
we'll see.
state. I don't know in New York.
I don't know. Hamzat lost 5 pounds in like 20 minutes.
That's the
apparently.
UFC commission. That's UFC commission. I don't know how New York does it. Yeah.
That was
sketch.
our friend Oscar
sketch.
at the Mac Life did his interview with Dana, and he asked him. He goes, "What?" He said, "Like, so I can't remember what he said. I'm sitting next to him. What did you say to Dana about Hamzat losing 5 pounds? Hamzat losing 5 pounds? Yeah, he's like, in a miracle of human biology, Hamzat has lost 5 pounds in like 20 minutes. And Dana just looked at him like, huh?
They don't know.
I thought it was funny.
That's great.
Where was
Yeah.
where was the box of
that
shame in Abu Dhabi? What happened to that? That's the whole point, having the box of shame. You can't push down on it.
I think
Sir,
no one
there's
used it?
they.
Oh, yeah,
see,
no, they
here's
did
the
the
thing
towel.
is when you have to fly across the country or the world, and you're over that weight limit, you gotta the airline fines you. So that was the thing they left behind.
Okay. don't want to pay those overage fees. Yeah.
Ironically, the box is like super heavy. That's kind of what's ironic about it is it's a fixed weight. John Villante. Guys, while
4
we have
minutes,
some-
guys. 4 minutes.
Can we wax a little? Let's wax a little poetic on John Villante. My first memory of him was in Strikeforce, and he was. I'm looking back on it now. Heavyweight Grand Prix
Chad
reserve
Griggs.
bout.
Is this Chad Griggs?
Chad Griggs.
Yeah, I was there.
I'm sure you were, and I remember
remember.
watching it, and there was quite a bit of hype around Jean at the time because he was this Sarah Longo product. Chad Griggs, I mean, even by then was kind of I don't want to say a journeyman, but was certainly being brought in to be taken out, and not a heavyweight, not a natural heavyweight, by the way. But he had some weird, like there was a moment there where Chad Griggs was this like upset special guy, Bobby Lashley,
Yeah.
Jean Villante, and then Overeem's brother Valentine. He was really spoiling some things, and then he came to the UFC. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, went 0-2 and then retired. But yeah, that's my first memory of Jean Villante being upset.
Chad Griggs knocked Villante out, remember?
He did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did.
Sorry,
It was
I
very
thought you were saying
shocking.
Villante won. Oh, you're saying Villante was the prospect. I always thought it was Chad Griggs.
No, I think Villante, at least on the broadcast, they were kind of big. Again, the Sarah Longo guy is great, talking about how athletic he was, saying already at the time that he was probably going to drop to 205. Wasn't really a way that,
Okay.
they want to get a fight.
If you're
And,
interested,
he lost that fight.
the fans for that fight, 56% had Griggs winning coming into that fight. Whoa.
Really? He knew more than I did.
CJ Vergara.
Here's TJ Vergara. Here we go, our last guy. Fingers crossed. He's straight out of the sauna.
His hair looks very wet.
This is pro
we're
wrestling
gonna-
stuff.
we're
That's
gonna
like
cut
pro
it
wrestling
off?
wet. That's Triple H wet.
Okay, John Anik getting in the box.
The box of redemption.
Yes, this
I need,
fingers crossed for CJ Vergara. This will be the box of redemption.
I need some box music.
You need like the Unsolved Mysteries theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Put that on my to-do list. Finding box music.
Hands up over your head, son. Wait, hold on.
Good eyes.
Professionals. I like this.
27.4.
127.4 for CJ Vergara.
127.4. So 1.4 pounds over the flyweight limit with the 1 pound allowance. So that is two. Casey, unfortunately, we end on two misses. We're not going to play the music right now. Neither of these fights are official yet. I would imagine they will become catch weights. Bruno Souza will probably forfeit 20% of his purse, and Sergio Vergara will also forfeit 20% of his purse. But again, we don't know. They could be declined. They could be canceled on Saturday, sometime early Saturday. We have seen this before, that these bad weight cuts lead to further issues. So hopefully not. Hopefully we get to keep the card together. But Mike, hit us with the rundown.
Let me just first say that I'm not picking low-key bangers until the preview show from here on out, because I am a jinx and it's my fault, and I apologize to the viewers. So here we go. Just waiting for the music, and I'll do this final rundown. Mike the Jinx hack. Kamaru Usman, ready for his title defense. He weighed in at 169.
Right, and now weighing in as an alternate for UFC
Whoa, you
welterweight
guys must have
championship.
forgot.
Oh, Vicente Luque. Forgot about Vicente Luque.
I'm sorry, that's on me, guys. That's on me. Here comes Vicente Luque, weighing as an alternate for the main event.
Wait, what happened to my neck?
$172.4.
172.4.
Does this count as a weight miss for a fight he's not going to fight in?
This is almost like what happened to Iaquinta. I remember for the
That's
Khabib fight. He weighed in. No, that's not true, because he weighed in for another fight and then was not eligible for the champ. That was so bizarre. Okay, so this is different. Oh, here comes the box of redemption.
He's got to be 170. This will be
What are we
interesting.
doing? This is weird.
This is so weird. I don't even know if I should mention it if he doesn't make it. Oh, I have to mention it. Okay, I will
I mean,
tweet something.
it doesn't mean anything. It's just
172.2 for Vicente Luque.
Okay.
who's going to be the backup for the backup?
What is it with New York and the backups? Didn't this happen
Jeez,
before?
wait.
Like, who is the
No,
backup at the
Moicano
last?
missed weight in Toronto.
All right. Mike, back to the rundown, I guess.
But wait, I'm so
I'm
There
very
was a
confused.
fight. There was a
I know.
fighter at 244 who was the backup for Darren Till, Kelvin Gastelum, I think, and he missed weight. I forget who it was, but who cares? It doesn't really matter. Back to the rundown.
This is what a weird sport. Are we done? Okay, now can we do it?
Yes,
Are we
I
ready?
think now we're done.
Yes.
Go
All right,
ahead.
here we go. Hold on one moment.
Okay. Hit my music. All right, Kamaru Usman, 169, takes on Colby Covington, defends his title. Colby Covington weighed in at 169.4. Rose Namajunas defends her strawweight title against Zhang Weili. Both fighters weighed in 115 pounds. Frankie Edgar weighed in at 135.6. He will face Marlon Vera, weighed in at 135. Shane Burgos, 145.6. will take on Billy Quarantillo, who successfully made weight at 145.4. Main card opener, Dustin Jacoby, weighed in at 155.6, takes on Michael Chandler, weighed in at 155.2. Andreas Michailidis, 185, will take on the debuting Alex Pereira, 185.8. Iaquinta, back in the octagon, weighed in at 155.8. He will take on Bobby Green, 155.2 pounds. Phil Hawes, Chris Curtis, finally going down. Phil Hawes, 185.4. Chris Curtis weighed in at 186 for his UFC debut. Edmen Shahbazyan, 185.4, takes on the surging Nassourdine Imavov, 184.6. Jordan Williams, looking to derail the hype train of Ian Garry, weighed in at 170.6. Garry weighed in at 169.6. John Villante rolling out of bed on the scale at 260.6 for his final professional fight. Will take on Chris Beast Boy Barnett, who weighed in at 263.8. Dustin Jacoby, 203.6, was under the mark on less than a week's notice when he took this fight to face John Alon, who weighed in at 205. Melsik Bagdasaryan, 145.5, scheduled to fight Bruno Souza, who missed weight at 148.4. And CJ Vergara, the last man on the scale, missed weight at 127.4. He's scheduled to take on Ode Osbourne, who was successful on the scale at 125.2 for the scheduled flyweight matchup. AK, back to you, my best friend.
Man, thank you, Mike. Fantastic as always. Thank you for brightening up the end of these weigh-ins, which ended on a bit of a bummer. 3 straight misses for 2 scheduled fighters and 1 alternate, but the show must go on. So obviously, people, there's no official weigh-ins now. We will have, there's no ceremonial weigh-ins now. They will be scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Of course, you can check MMAfighting.com. Jose Youngs will be there on site as well with all the extra coverage you need. We'll have all the clips on social media. New York Rick, of course, will be throwing up all the hot clips, all the hot memes, all the TikToks. Do we do the TikToks?
We'll get there.
NFTs.
Not yet.
NFTs.
In the plans. In the plans.
Is there an NYR NFT? It really rolls right off the tongue.
No. Not until I shave my beard and get myself looking like him.
But thank you everyone who got up early on the either Jose is waving a goodbye to everybody. Thank you, Jose. Thanks to everyone who got up early, early on the East Coast, super early on the West Coast. We appreciate it. We love you guys, the viewers, listeners. You guys are amazing. Yes. So signing off for Jose Youngs, Mike Heck, New York Rick, and EK Saliden. I'm Alex Lee, and we will see you later.
Happy birthday.
It's not my birthday.
Really?
It was.